Happy evening, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome. It's been a long time since I met you all. I'm really happy and glad to see you all in this particular fashion. Okay, let me set aside to some extent where I can keep this. I don't know. Okay, I guess this is the right place. Happy evening. I'm sure all of you are preparing in the right spirits. All of you are good in your preparation. Guys, a beautiful chapter. Welcome to warehousing. A new addition into the CA final level inclusion till November 21 examination. This was not part of the syllabus. You can refer to the Institute ISM, old ISM and also the new ISM. This was not part of. To be very frank, from 2016 onwards, they have kept it out of the equation, and all of a sudden, this examination they have brought it into this new chapter itself. They have brought it into the system. And amendments, they are not giving any clear clarity or any communication that warehousing being a part of Abdina. They have not said anything. But according to me, it is a welcome inclusion. My dear, starting from section 57 and going up to section 73A and covering about all these 9 regulations. To be very frank, all are latest amended, updated one. So these are the regulations which I have to, look into when it comes to warehousing. My dear brothers and sisters, don't get too much so technical, and it's all going to be a storytelling time. And how you guys have learned the duty drawback, listening to the concept and grasping it to the perfection, and then trying the book back. Tell me, my dear brothers and sisters, are you able to feel the control in the entire customs area? Are you keep revising? My dear, monthly once you should revise, only then you can feel the subject. Ilana subject will vanish because our memory is a L1 memory. Okay, whatever is coming first in, first out. So unless you keep a proper revision, it will not work out. So guys, are you all revising? Are you feeling the comfort zone? We are in the last leg of knocking down our area. We have got 3 chapters and we have got 3 classes. Today most likely I will be knocking it down. Customs warehousing and refund under the customs law, most likely. And the foreign trade policy, it will take another 4 to 5 hours minimum. So we have got 2 sessions. We'll be knocking down on the next 2 sessions. That is on 4th and 5th. We will be addressing this foreign trade policy and we'll be closing it down. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is what the plan is all about. And I hope and trust all these days, whatever the provisions we have shared practically till day, you are also comfortable dealing with. And today, it's complete storytelling time, starting with. Sir, this combination of 57 to 73A and 9 regulations, how to address this? How one have to, view this particular area is all about. Somewhere close to 30 to 32 regulations, provisions put together. My dear, I'm going to split this entire session of warehousing into stages wherein it requires visualization from you. Because I'm not sure how many of you have exposed practically to warehousing. Warehousing in all the port towns and port cities, those who are residing there, for them the familiarity will be one possibility update. Might be those who are in Chennai, Visakhapatnam, those who are in Mumbai. For you, it might be a possibility. Someone from Cochin, for you there might be a problem, but people from other parts of this world, you might not be aware of this, or you might not have got the opportunity to get yourself exposed to this area. So visualization can actually do this. Okay, and very simple concept of visualization. We might not have got exposed to port, but definitely we all would have exposed to bank. Guys, today I'm going to keep it very simple to make you all understand this warehousing concept using bank locker procedures. Keep visualizing whatever I'm saying. That's very, very, very important. You have to think, process and visualize my saying in front of you, and you have to be you will have to literally live as my words for the next 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Only then we are in a very good we will be in a very good position to understand this area. My dear brothers and sisters, are you ready? Yes. Thank you, Ramji. That's a great insight. Ramji is saying, yes, sir, I'm already ready. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go, my dear. Thank you, Rekha sister. Nanda, Shanmugh, friend. Superb. Thank you so much. Guys, visualize this into multiple phases. Visualize this into multiple phases. First, we will be learning how to create a warehouse. Creation of a warehouse. After creating the warehouse, what I am supposed to do? Can I sit outside and simply do, watchman activity? No. After creating the warehouse, I should bring the goods inside the warehouse. So second stage is how to bring the goods into warehouse. What is the procedures for bringing the goods into warehouse? And when I say stage 1 creation of warehouse, it will discuss various aspects. It starts from licensing, it goes to requirements, guardian, so many aspects, custodian, it will cover so many aspects. Stage 2, how to get the goods moved into warehouse, including the regulations we will be discussing. Stage 3, how long I can keep the goods into warehouse, procedural compliance again. What are all the requirements one have to do, so fulfill. Stage 4, what right one possesses to deal with when the goods are in warehouse. So can I have access goods, can I sort, can I take samples, can I manufacture inside the warehouse? Lot of aspects. What if there is a evaporation from warehouse? So many aspects we will discuss in the third criteria. And for fifth stage, the final stage is how to take the goods out of warehouse. So stage 1, we will discuss about creation and all the regulations associated with existence of a warehouse, including cancellation. Then comes practical utility, usage. First, creation of an asset and destruction of an asset. Next stage, what we will discuss, sir, how goods are going to come in, what I am going to do with the goods, how long I am going to deal with the goods, and how I am going to take the goods outside. This is what this 30 provisions is all about. My dear, are you comfortable splitting this into stages? Right? Because it's always easy or comfortable to break or to cut the bigger one into smaller one and then easily swallow the smaller one. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is the phase which I am going to take you through. I might be traveling zigzag between the sections. Don't panic. By this time, yes, my dear Ramji, right? See, you have exposed and you are experienced me. By this time, you should be aware I'm a kind of a person who takes you conceptually. I'm not a kind of a person who is going to take you section 1, section 2, section 3. No, I'm not for it. I'm going to take you through in a story wise wherein you will never ever see. My whole objective is you should never forget warehousing. Why, sir? This is because new chapter under the Nalya? No. It is not because of that way. See, for CA, this is a new chapter. Okay, for CA students, it's a new chapter. I totally understand. For CMA and CS students, I have been taking this all along these years. So this chapter is nothing new. As far as a professional compliant from my side, as a teacher from my side, this is nothing new. It's new to the entire stream of CA final students as a new exposure, new way of learning. And it's a welcome sign. Why, sir? Those who are going to employment opportunity in the port city, you have got one more extra opportunity if you say or if you put in your resume that you also know about or you are exposed to warehousing procedures. My dear, again I am telling you, what we are learning is only a drop in the ocean. These are the basics. Sir, with this basics, can I straight away go and indulge in warehousing procedures or can I carry out warehousing procedures? My dear, these activity of warehousing procedures is all mastered by someone called clearing and forwarding agents mostly, or customs house agent. These guys are somebody who basically does this all. And I don't know why this ball is rotating like this. Oh yeah. Okay. So my dear brothers and sisters, After learning this basics, this is the first step. And you should not be asked like Kodishwaran wherein, sir, after learning this straight away, can I go to practical aspects of warehousing? No, you can actually try. It will take time for you to specialize into this area. It is a lot of procedures involved. Now, getting into these nuances, and it's a must to have a knowledge. It's must to have a knowledge. It's like, sir, after we completing the GST entire book, can I go to GST or 9C reconciliation straight away? It is based on practical exposure, not directly possible. You are technically equipped. For practical nuances, you need to work on the field. The same way here. Sir, after going through all these 30 professions, whether I will be mastering, I'm sorry guys. So we will be asking this, whether, you'll be mastering this area. After mastering, you're technically equipped to go and check yourself with practicalities. So let us go ahead ourselves and look into the basics. How to get the licensing first. What is warehousing is all about, and how I am going to take this basics. My dear brothers and sisters, having understood the basics, this is what all about. Creation of a warehouse. This has been liberalized. Let me tell you very clearly, creation of the warehouse has been liberalized. And today, we are experiencing a liberalized procedures. There are three types of warehouse which is in existence. First one is called public warehouse. Second one is called private warehouse, which you can get a license under section 58. And third one is called special warehouse. My dear brothers and sisters, remember, I'll put a special marking, I'll put a special noting on 58 and 58A. Okay. Why, sir, 58 and 58A you are marking a special one? Private warehouse and special warehouses are privileged one where today manufacturing activity after regulations, after invention, after bringing up of manufacturing and other operations in special warehouse and amendment regulations in 2020, after these two regulations, which is literally overriding the earlier regulations. Today, manufacture in warehouse is permitted only if it is private warehouse or if it is special warehouse. In public warehouse, there is no probability. In public warehouse, there is no probability of a manufacture. Guys, are you all with me? Let me first take you through. Let me first take you through what is basically this public warehouse, private warehouse, and other licensing, special licensing warehouse. My dear brothers and sisters, please mute yourself, and only if there is a doubt, please open up and speak. I know I have to tolerate because I am coming into your place, you are coming into my place. I request people to mute yourself, please. And when there is a doubt, please open up. I am not against you speaking for doubts, but there should not be a distraction from the other side, please. No, my dear brothers and sisters, public warehouse or private warehouse or special warehouse, what is the process? Sir, let's take for example, Ramji want to own a warehouse now. So what Ramji can do? Ramji can straight away go to the jurisdictional commissioner or principal commissioner, and my dear brothers and sisters, please mute yourself. Sir, sound is from SIRC ID Shanmuga Priyan. SIRC ID naan danappa use pannirken. Okay, leaving it behind. Enake therilla naan pesradha enak ekku artha enak adum therilla. SIRC final adi yarpa, whoever it be, I am not sure. So let us enjoy let us enjoy this complete process. Okay, guys. So let's take Ramji. Ramji want to go ahead and he wants to own a private warehouse or a public warehouse or a special warehouse. He can still do what he has to do. Ramji has to first go and make an application to the jurisdictional commissioner or principal commissioner to take the license for the warehouse. To take the license for the warehouse. And it is very important to note, only dutiable goods have to be deposited in the warehouse. But it is a public, private or special warehouse, it's only dutiable goods, whatever is imported, that's had to be. And in case of public warehouse, after taking the permission from the commissioner, even indigenous duty paid goods can also be brought into the system. This we can discuss later. But prima facie, what is the procedure, sir? Ramji, what is the basic criteria for Ramji to go and make an application? Look at this. Ramji has to be a citizen of India, or he must be an entity registered or incorporated in India. Everybody might have. Ramji has to be an citizen of India, or he must be a person incorporated in India. First criteria. So foreign entities which is not having a separate incorporation in India or a foreign citizen, for them it is not possible. Sorry guys, sorry. Okay. Next. Applicant shall submit an undertaking. So what they have to do? They have to give an undertaking along with the bond and a bank guarantee. We will discuss about those criteria. For whom we have to give a license? What should be the track record of the person? What should be the logical sanctity of the person? Everything have to be verified, my dear, because others goods and protected goods on which duty is not paid, those goods are going to be kept inside. That means how much should be the loyalty, how much should be the financial viability of that person. Very, very important. So applicant, while making an application, he has to not only give evidence of his financial viability, solvency, but also he has to give a declaration saying that, sir, whatever the condition you will subject me to, I will adhere with. I will comply with the terms and conditions if warehousing is granted to me. They have to give a declaration. Why, sir? Because others good might also come into this particular place, because non-dutiable goods on which government is having the right towards a duty is going to come inside. So they have to give a declaration. And applicant have to give a solvency certificate as well from a scheduled bank. That's very important. For how much is the amount, sir? Amount with respect to private and special warehouse, it will differ from case to case. It will be communicated. It will be communicated by whom? It will be communicated by whom? No, Sasha, I'm sorry. No, please. Please. Sorry, po. Okay. So, my dear, yeah, commissioner or principal commissioner, they will decide from case to case basis. There is no thumb rule. So, tomorrow Ramji goes and asks warehousing, and the commissioner has said deposit 3 crores. And then next day Shanmo Priyan goes and requests, commissioner says deposit 5 crores. Shanmo Priyan catches commissioner by the shirt and asks, how dare, how discriminative you are. And for Ramji alone you gave it at 3 crores. Why this discrimination? Commissioner smilingly says, Ramji is committed, sincere, therefore I have given. Shanmo Priyan, shouts, even Mori gets angry. Oh, why I am not committed, you think so? Commissioner says, it is my discretion. It is my power. Sir, it depends. No, Pratik Saxena. Okay. No, my dear. It's a commissioner's discretion. How commissioner will have to decide on it? That is an internal parameter. Guideline book is available for the departmental officer. For the commissioner, protocols are there. On what basis he has to do? Parameters based on which, risk parameters based on which he has to, take this amount. Due diligence will be exercised by the commissioner. Like what I said, based on personal appearance and all, it will not be created. It will be clearly based on the risk appetite. For example, special warehouse or private warehouse is sought. It has been requested. Where, sir, it is requested in Chennai near Ennur Port, sir. Okay, fine. Chennai, Ennur Port. Okay, fine. I can give no issues. but special warehouse or private warehouse is requested. Ingapa, where? Sir, New Delhi, close to next building to Jawaharlal Nehru University. With all due respects. Now tell me, is there any risk involved here? Is there any risk involved here? Pratik Saxena, no, my dear. You have to understand, okay? Those students of JNU, if I give one slogan raised by them, you will understand how risky the place next to JNU is all about. भारत को हमें टुकड़े टुकड़े करता है அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு டமால் நடிப்பான். You have to yes, it's risky. So obviously commissioner might not grant taking the risk appetite. If I am the commissioner or principal commissioner, I will reject this proposal. I know it is a risky place. But if at all the person who is coming and applying himself is, let's say, Kannaya, okay, who is the influencing student, vice chairman there, and he says, no, we will ensure there is nothing. It's for the JNU students, because every time when a riot or strike happens, police comes and beats us. We need to keep something special there to take and hit them back. With all due respects, we need to have that. Some convincing answers. Other thing, okay, commissioner says, then give me 10 crore. 10 crore. For private warehouse and special warehouse, commissioner will decide based on lot of parameters. Main aspects of that being risk parameter associated with the geographical territory, locality, and then product features will also be considered. Goods or features and its shelf life, so many aspects. The nature of goods, what you are going to show, store, cold storage, or what is the kind of thing. So many parameters. So my dear Pratik Saxena, it just not depends on types of goods. It is on lot of parameters, internal parameters that is available in the departmental catch-up. It's a very good question which Pratik Saxena has asked. See, earlier, long time before 2016 or 17, I happened to come across the internal handbook. Now I didn't exactly remember the content, so next time I'll try to get. See, I have my good officers friends over there. Or if at all anyone who's having the good friends in customs, you can also ask an internal protocol for the aspects to approve for the warehouse. And if at all anybody got to have the access from the department, please do share it with me. You all have my number. I will also be happy. And now coming back to the mainstream. So this will happen. Additional provisions only in case of special warehousing. So this solvency, see, look at what are the things. Application, undertaking, solvency certificate. Apart from that, for special warehousing alone, additional requirements. What is that? Application can be made only with respect to the storage notified by the board. So meaning thereby, special warehouse can be used for the storage of notified goods. And sir, is that CBIC has notified anything? Yes, I have to edit this. It is CBIC. Yes, they have notified only this. Previously CBEC, now it is CBIC. They have notified only 4 products to be kept in the special warehouse. Okay, and applicant should undertake to pay the service of supervision for of the warehouse by proper customs officer. This is something very interesting, and this is going to give you a wonderful knowledge for you guys. What is that, sir? What is the thing I have to get to know? My dear brothers and sisters, point number 1, special warehouse can be used to store only notified goods. First learning. Second learning, the applicant, let's take Ramji is making an application. Ramji have to pay for the proper customs officer who is going to do the duty of supervisioning of such warehouse. Sir, why it is so, sir? My dear brothers and sisters, now get to know the reality. Private warehouses, special warehouses will always remain under the lock and key custody of the proper customs officer of that particular area. Sir, suppose Ramji wants to have one special warehouse for specified goods, which is gold, silver, other precious semi-metals, or for the purpose of goods which are meant to be for the supply of duty-free shops, or which are meant as a stores for the vessel and aircraft. We have seen the stores already. Or with respect to foreign privileged persons. So nothing but foreign diplomatic mission and a requirement for them. For these people, so goods meant to be supplied for these three people, or if it is going to be gold, silver and other semi-precious metals, only this four category of the products, and Ramji wants these products to be stored, for which he is making a special application for warehousing. Where, sir? Westmambalam, Chennai. Westmambalam, Chennai, he wants to have his special warehouse. So Westmambalam jurisdiction, we will have one area in Chennai. Okay, for that area there will be a jurisdictional customs officer. That customs officer will possess the key for that particular warehouse, and that warehouse will always be locked. And there will be a warehouse keeper. He will be sitting outside and he will be like a watchman. But if you want to open and go in, only when the proper officer comes and stands in the presence of the proper customs officer in charge of that warehouse, only it can be opened, because he will be possessing the key. It will be under the lock and key control of the proper customs officer. Sir, what will be the case of special warehouse? Sir, don't I have any liberty? No liberty. Any one activity in special warehouse, it will always be under the control of the proper customs officer. Sir, I want to open. Proper customs officer should be there. Sir, I want to move the goods. I want to move the goods inside the warehouse. Proper customs officer should be there. Sir, I want to sort the goods. I want to arrange the goods, or I want to take the goods, or I want to remove partially, or I want to do the manufacture inside the warehouse, or I want to clear the goods from the warehouse. For everything, it is possible only when the proper customs officer is present. Under his stringent supervision only, access, open, lock, anything is possible. That means 24/7, 365 days, one officer is dedicated to the special warehouse. Correct or not? Guys, think. To open, move, anything and everything, proper officer should be present there. Correct, perfect. Ramji says, correct Ramji, perfect. For anything and everything, one has to be there. That means 24/7, one officer have to be associated there. Who will pay the salary for this officer? Who will pay the salary of this officer? That is why we are asking for service of the supervision of the warehousing PCO. We ask him to pay. Who has to pay the salary and other perks and all other aspects to be undertaken for the proper officer? By whom? Ramji. Sir, will he get two salaries, sir? Ramji will pay it to the government, and government in turn will pay the salary to this officer, because payment is for the officer, not for the person. Meaning thereby, payment is for the chair. The person whoever comes and discharges a duty in the chair, he will be paid. That's why always I say, when you go to government officer, be good to the officers there. For the sake of fighting with the chair, don't get, enmity with them. That's not fair. It's not fair. Why we have to fight with the proper officers? Why we have to always have the otherwise? Not required. Let's make good friends. Sir, they try to take advantage. That's all secondary. Don't unnecessarily raise voice or fight with anybody. Always try to carry a smiling face. I'm telling you, smiling face can solve 1,000 questions even before it is getting posted. That's a specialty of a smiling and amicable face. Sir, we should not express ourselves, sir. You be expressive, but politely be expressive. Don't rub on their, ego. That's unfair. Okay? In their mind, as such the thought processes, We chartered accountant, cost accountant, all those people, huh? We are every month we are earning crores and crores. It is their thought process. And in our mind, about them, whatever it be, are going to take money. What then? This is the thought process in our mind. So don't deal. No, I can't go and say that officer don't think that great about me. At least he is thinking that great. No, let it be. But I can tell myself, don't underestimate or don't overestimate the opponent. Respect him properly. Don't think about the result. Concentrate on the process. I can tell myself. So always make it clear when you deal with the departmental officers, focus on the process. Don't try to rush to the result. Right? Now, my dear. So this is the process with which one have to make an application. And my dear, if the proper officer is satisfied, he may grant. But sometime he may not grant you the license. Sometime he may not grant you the license. Why, sir? Why there is such a scenario for me? You have to ask. Sir, in the following cases, commissioner may reject. What are all the scenarios? Point number 1. Person declared insolvent, bankrupt by any court or tribunal. Straightforward. We require only a solvent person because others' goods and special goods are going to be inside. Person convicted under any law. Very good. We want to have only a good person having a good track record. Not a person who is carrying on a moral turpitude and also some person who is, creating all sort of abstractions and nonsense to application of any sort of law. That's why they use the word any law. Convicted under any law. Principal commissioner or commissioner is satisfied. The warehouse is not suitable for a secure storage. As I told you, next to JNU. Warehouse is not suitable for supervision of the proper officer. If any officer goes there, he may be killed. Bankruptcy proceeding. Bankruptcy proceeding is pending against the applicant. See, he has not declared insolvent, but he has applied for IBC proceedings. Criminal proceeding is pending against him. He has been accused in a murder case, but the case is under hearing. He has not been convicted, but it is under progress. See, if he is insolvent, if he is convicted, it's okay. Sir, what if it is in WAP status? Keep it in abeyance. Okay, guys. And first 2 scenarios, what I told you very clearly. Look at this. They have the right. Pratik Saxena. Now I hope you got the point. And a person with unsound mind. And the last scenario being person first penalized for any offences under the Customs Act, Central Excise Act and Finance Act, now also under the GST law. So these are all restful acts. We can also add under the GST law. GST state compensation, says I didn't add. Sir, special and private warehouse depend on us where to establish. My dear, even public warehouses depend on our request. Wherever we want, we can have it. Absolutely not an issue. In this particular home, I am telling you, I am currently taking class from my home. Okay, so in this particular place, okay, I can say 2 rooms I want to convert into warehouse. I can make an application for warehouse, provided it is just an thing. There is no hard and fast rule. Only this place should be done. That place should be done. Guys, are you all comfortable? License cannot be issued under which scenario? So situations under which license cannot be granted is a direct 4-mark question. Mark it important, right? Conditions to be filled by an applicant. What are all the conditions? My dear, here I have taken an undertaking. I have given an undertaking. I will comply with all the terms and conditions. So what sort of conditions one may ask for? Now, common sense approach. You are going for a banker. You are going for a banker and you are asking banker for a locker. What things you look for? Why you are going for bank locker first? You tell me that. Why you guys are going and looking up for a bank locker? What is the basics? What is the basics? Excellent, Shanmo Brain. Security and safety. To keep things safe. Very good, yeah. Excellent, Ramji. That's it. So, commissioner will look forward and put a condition with respect to what? Safety and security of the goods which are going to be warehoused. Is it not? Hello, my dear. Is it not? And for that, what he is going to say? He is going to say, put some surveillance into picture, put some warehouse keeper into operation, take insurance for the warehouses. These are all some of the conditions what he is going to lay down. Apart from maintenance of books of accounts. Today it's a modern world, so digitalization. So one of the main criteria is you have to appoint a warehouse keeper with a proper digital signature. Meaning thereby that warehouse keeper should have all his KYC validated. Let's go ahead, my dear. Let's go ahead. Here we go. Conditions to be fulfilled. Principal commissioner or the commissioner after inspecting the warehouse premises is satisfied. So that means please understand there is every probability that they may inspect or they may assign the inspection to the officers authorized by them. So if commissioner can do, any officer authorized by them can also do. Is satisfied that the license may be granted. He shall require the applicant to provide this all. Point number 1. He might require a person to appoint a warehouse keeper who is having the sufficient experience in warehouse operation. That's very important. But most of the cases, the sufficient experience in warehouse operation is through SOP. Alternately, we can do this. Because I cannot pull, a warehouse keeper from some other warehouse to bring him a warehouse keeper over here. Okay. So, SOP to replace this particular criteria. And apart from this, what are all the other requirements? To provide all insurance policy. Undertaking, binding him to pay duty, interest, fine, penalty payable under 73A or under the Warehouse Custodian Holding Regulation 2016. Meaning thereby if at all a good is getting stolen, then who is responsible? Warehouse keeper and warehouse owner should be capable of compensating, right? Both the importer and also the department. That is why duty, interest, fine, penalty, everything has been brought into it. Undertaking to indemnify the principal commissioner or the commissioner for any liability arising on account of loss suffered in respect of warehouse goods. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's been very apparently said as an next condition. And my dear, if at all commissioner is convinced that you are not falling under any of this category and you are adhering to four steps criteria, making an application, submit an undertaking, presenting a solvency certificate and going ahead and appointing the person taking all the insurance, they may grant you the license subject to such other conditions. If at all anything they want to add up, they will do. License once granted, it need not be renewable, and also my dear, such license are non-transferable. MCQ area. Mark this note, important for MCQ area. Mark this note, important for MCQ area. Mark this note, important for MCQ area, my dear. Sir, Ramji, can he transfer it to Shanma Brain? Sorry, not possible. Sir, can he actually, whether he is required to renew year after year after year? Not required. Unless it is cancelled or surrendered, only that thread will come to an end. It is like GST registration. Sir, every year do I have to take registration? No, not required. Once taken, it is all for all. So now the warehousing has come into existence. My dear, when power to cancel, that we will go on later. We will go to that step later. But before that, I want to give you this learning. So what is the difference between public warehouse, private warehouse and special warehouse? Special warehouse we got it cleared only with respect to dutiable notified goods. Goods only notified by the CBIC is entitled to be stored. And how many goods are notified? Only 4 goods. Only that needs to be stored. So that is called, if at all I am creating a storage facility for the purpose of storing only these 4 specified goods, then it is called as what warehousing? Then it is called as what warehouse? Special warehouse. 58A. Excellent. Indirect taxation. Super. If at all, sir, Ramji is making an application for a warehouse wherein only dutiable goods imported by Ramji alone is to be stored. Ramji's imported goods alone is to be stored. Ramji's imported goods alone to be stored. Ramji's imported goods alone is to be stored. Then it is called as what? Private warehouse. Meaning thereby, if importer's own goods are stored, then it is called as private warehouse. But Ramji is now making an application. Ramji is making an application wherein Ramji is going to allow the goods imported by all the brothers and sisters. This is where clarity is required. See, when it comes to 57 public licensing, dutiable goods getting deposited has been spelled out, and also in special warehousing, dutiable goods getting deposited has been spelled. That means indigenously duty paid goods can also be brought into this area. Sir, why for special warehousing they are giving this area? In fact, this indigenous, not only imported, indigenous products were even relaxed to private warehouse. We will discuss about it later. But primarily for storing purpose, yes, only 57. Public, what is the difference, sir? Ramji getting the license, allowing Sitaraman, Pradak Saxena and Shanmugapriyan, Nanda, all of us to store the goods there. Guys, are you all with me? Guys, you are with me? You are comfortable? You are able to distinguish between what is the difference between these 3 type of warehouses? So only specified goods, special warehouse. Importer alone storing his own imported goods, imported by licensee, then it's called private. Licensee permitting anybody's imported goods to be stored there, then it is public warehouse. So whatever the warehouse you want to create, the requirements are very simple. And in case of special warehouse, it will be completely under the lock and control of the proper officer, for which expenses have to be borne by the licensee. We have discussed this. So nothing great. So now I am sure you are all clear with how a warehouse is getting created, who has to make an application, and when it will be rejected, what are all the conditions and compliance he has to do once granted. Sir, in case of special warehouse, anyone can store, but only notified goods. Now, correct, my dear Prayer Sectioner. See, look at this. Look at the scope. To license warehouse at any place where dutiable goods notified by CBIC may be deposited, not with respect to imported by licensee. Prayer Saxena, my dear. Take me. Without sacrificing my office commitments, I cannot sit with you and deal with you guys. For your kind information, of course, I've been working from home for the past almost 90 days, I should say, 80 days roughly to speak about. Given that the files I have to sit at the home and I have to do it, this setup has become a permanent setup for me almost. Because just now for the past 4 days I have been walking without walker, that too for a short distance, not to a greater distance. So yes, managing slowly back on my feet, limping, walking slowly. It is because of injury, the leg starts to swell. That happens quite some time. But without sacrifices, whether we are able to achieve something, absolutely no. Absolutely no. This is what our greats have said, and they have said in different contexts. See, this has been the beauty of Dvaita Advaitas. You sacrifice yourself. What do you mean by sacrificing self, sir? Do I have to kill myself? No, no. Sacrifice the ego in you called I. Stop saying I. You will understand we God in every place. That's what they have said. Without sacrifice, nothing can be realized. To feel the God, I in us have to die. To feel humanity in everybody, the love in everyone have to be, from the bottom of the heart. To treat everyone equal, that thought process should come by throwing away the negatives in you. So by sacrificing one only, other thing will come. Possible. If you keep endeavoring, that is possible. So it's quite obvious. Sir, I promise everything, but I don't deliver. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, please appreciate. What if you commit a non-compliance after given a license? Very simple. You have been given a two-wheeler license. After that, you are making a massive 2-3 accidents. What government will do? What the traffic constable will do here? Tell me. Hello? Ramji, fine la Ramji. Fine la on the small violations. Accident, killing 2-3 people, the license will be put under suspension and then it will be cancelled also. Traffic ke. Arrest alla drunken drive kya. Rekha sister, classic. Take GST registration, consider GST license. GST as a license, please consider that way. You are not maintaining proper books of accounts, you are not put up a name board, you have not started, you are not filed a return, your registration is getting cancelled, right? After putting it under suspension, correct or not? I am sure you all would have gone through section 29, read with rule 21A, read with rule 20, read with rule 21 of the CGST rules, right? Wherein if at all any of the conditions satisfying assessee making an application or a proper officer is suo motu cancellation, 12 scenarios. First, your registration is put under suspension, then inquiry. After inquiry, if the positive outcome is there, suspension is revoked. If suspension is not revoked, inquiry proves that you are guilty, registration will be cancelled following rule 21. If cancelled, then you have to go all the way back to rule 45 following the final return criteria. Making a final return on or before, whichever is a later period. Date of cancellation or date of order of cancellation. 3 months from whichever is later date, you are obligated to file GST return on or before that day. Then officially you are said to have cancelled. And while doing so, you cannot simply do as specified in section 29 subsection 5. You are obligated to pay the taxes and reverse the ITC. For which you have to go and refer to rule section 29 subsection 6, read with rule 40. So big lengthy stream, amazing enjoyable stream. I am sure you would have enjoyed. Same under the customs law. Don't think in a different manner. Same way. Look at this. Principal commissioner or commissioner may suspend the registration and they may conduct inquiry. Sir, why sir suspension? Because they are not following the conditions. So during the inquiry period, what is the requirement, sir? My dear, during the suspension period, can a GST registered person can issue a tax invoice? Can he file his return? Very good, Ramji. Excellent. See, he can make a supply, but he cannot issue a tax invoice. That's a beauty. He can make a supply. Sir, clarification is there for us. Clarification is there, clarifying the criteria laid down in Rule 21A. He can make a supply, but he cannot issue a tax invoice. He cannot file his. See, 4 consequences upon GST suspension is common. 1. He is not supposed to issue tax invoice. 2. He is not supposed to file GSTR 1. 3. He is not supposed to file GSTR 3B for that period. 4. He cannot apply for refund. 5. He cannot even update or furnish the information for outward supplies in Part A of GST e-Waybill. Restriction has been placed under Rule 138A, read with Section 68, subsection 2 of the CGST Act. Right? So, all these things are criteria. All these things are criteria. So, these things will come and, block it. You are not supposed to do. You are not supposed to do. Same way here. Look at this. Now, visualize. Bring your visualization back. Sir, power to cancel license, sir. Power to cancel license, sir. Okay. What they will do? They will not permit, further goods. No more fresh deposits into the warehouse. No goods shall be deposited in the warehouse. Tone suna correct. Second, already warehouse goods enna sir pannalam. That you can do anything, no issues. That you can do. You can sort, you can arrange, you can clear, you can do anything with already. But no fresh input, no fresh insight coming into the bank. Okay, sir. Result of the inquiry, what, sir? They are conducting the inquiry, During the course of inquiry, this is the process. But result of the inquiry, they will come to the conclusion, no. They will cancel the suspension and resume the operation. They will allow you to resume the operation because they don't find you guilty. But license will be cancelled provided after giving an opportunity of being heard, they will ensure cancellation will happen provided you are violated. So what is the requirement, sir? Cancellation of license after giving an opportunity of being heard. That's very, very important. Yeah. Any proceeding you take, if you're going to be detrimented, affected, then opportunity of being heard is very, very important. To the licensee, they will be cancelling the license after giving the opportunity of being heard. If license is cancelled, my dear, listen to this very carefully. If license is cancelled, whatever the goods that is already stored in the warehouse, it has to be cleared within 7 days, sir. What do you mean by clearance, sir? It may be removed to another warehouse. It may be taken for home consumption by filing bill of entry for home consumption, which is third form. Form 3 they can file, or they can export. Anything they can do. From what day, sir? From the date of service of order of the cancellation of license. And date of service of order, sir, how I have to enumerate myself, sir? Very simple, yeah. In the GST, there is something called miscellaneous chapter. In that chapter number 24, you will be learning section 161. Please go and refer 161. Today, in the modern context, that is a very, very relevant, section to understand what is meant by date of service of order. Wherein they say, if you are there, if the order is pronounced, what is the criteria? If it is uploaded in the portal, what is the criteria? If it is sent by courier, what is the criteria? If nothing is there, how I have to stick it in your address space? If that is not there, how I can give a newspaper advertisement? If nothing works out, if I put in my official gazette, what is the requirement? They will list all these criteria. Right? Very, very interesting section. To be very frank, you should read 161 not with actually, miscellaneous chapter. You should fast track it. Prepone it. You should learn date of service of order with demand and recovery chapter. Why, sir? After demand, before recovery, you should learn it. Why? Recovery under section 79 of the GST Act starts after 3 months from the date of service of order if you have not paid the tax, duty, interest thereon. So, if you are not paid the tax on which order has been finalized by the adjudicating authority under 73 or 74 and you have not paid it within 3 months from the date of service of order, then recovery proceedings under section 79 will be initiated. Oh my God. That means what is the date of service of order? Very, very important. See, when you come to practice, you will understand, you will interlink all these things. This is what the essence of success in your practice. When you read 173, you should not keep only in 73 in back of mind. You should also go to relevant area and should bring that over here. So, 161, you should read along in between this area. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. How this practically will happen? Okay, moving goods to another warehouse. No. The person for whom it is cancelled, for him it is altogether a different procedure. He has to start all again. Now listen, removing the goods to another warehouse. The regulation very clearly says how this has to be carried out. Let's understand. I'll take Ramji. Ramji's warehouse license is cancelled now. Ramji's warehouse license is cancelled. Okay. Now goods belonging to our product Saxena is inside the warehouse. Ramji will go for another application. Ramji will go for fresh registration. That and all separate. The Ramji episode is separate. Now, goods belonging to Pratik Saxena is inside. Now, what Pratik has to do? Very simple. Think this way. You are in a house, rented house. That person wants you to clear or vacate the house. What you will do? You will take all the goods and then go and search a place. Or you will go and search a place, confirm it, place is available, pay the advance, and then come and you will take all the goods and go to that place. What you guys will do? Very good. Option 2. Everybody, this is what goods which is located in the warehouse should also do. So owner of the goods, importer, have to go and get this confirmation from the another licensed registered warehouse. He has to get certificate from the another warehouse that facility and storage space is available. Availability certificate he has to bring from the another warehouse. And after giving it to the proper officer who is custodian of this warehouse, after checking that only, proper officer will permit goods to be moved to that warehouse. You're able to understand the check, internal check? Huh? What if you simply say warehouse and then you clear the goods for home consumption? Where department will go? So department is very clear to have these regulations inside. We will talk about it, removal of goods, which is 5th stage. We are still in the 1st stage. We are trying to learn how warehouse is created, what are the compliances, what are the different types of warehouse, and why warehouse license will be cancelled. If cancelled, what one have to do. Guys, are you all comfortable? Sir, but this can't be for the private warehouse. Why? For any warehouse, this is the procedure for cancellation. For any warehouse, this is the story. My dear product. I'm not able to hear. I don't know. Sure whether Pratik is trying to speak. Got it, sir. Now, okay, fine, Kanna, fine. So, my dear brothers and sisters, 1st stage is over. Stage 1. Are you all comfortable? Stage 1. Are you all comfortable? Now, I want you to do a 2 minutes visualization. I want you to do 2 minutes visualization. What? Who can make an application? Is there any restriction? No. Guys, go ahead to visualize. Take 2 minutes. What are all the things we covered as of now? We covered 57, 57A, 57, 58, 58A. Then we have covered 58B, power to cancellation. Guys, that's stage 1 for you. And along with the stage 1, I just want to bring in a small learning for you guys. What is that, sir? Please come on over here and have a look at it. Person having sufficient experience having the operations in the warehouse keeper, he has to be appointed. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the condition is compliance with respect to warehouse. What is the roles and responsibility for the custodian? See, this is the right time you should talk about custodian, and you should learn 73. You should learn about the custodian. Guys, shall we go ahead? Custody and removal of warehouse. We have to go ahead and we have to knock down this area. So I'm going to the end process. I'm going to the end process where I'm talking about custodian. 73. Custodian of goods we are going to talk about. Because this will be the last compliance process for a creation and existence and cancellation of warehouse learning. Last custodian of goods. My dear, visualize. Try to visualize. Warehouse keeper appointed by a person who has been granted license under section 57, 57A and 58A. What are all the responsibilities and duties for it? My dear, he has to ensure goods are removed only as per the authorization. He has to safeguard safety. Very, very important. That's the most important duty of the warehouse keeper, who is none other than the custodian. So custodian is none other than the warehouse keeper. You can keep that way. First and foremost duty, what, sir? He should ensure goods are coming in by following all the procedures properly. Number 2, he should ensure goods are removed in line with law. And instead, I should say, he should prevent illegal removal of goods, which is contravention to section 71. We will see that later. Custodian shall be liable for duty, interest, penalty, fine. This we have seen in the declaration itself. And the warehouse keeper should have a digital signature, and he has to file a return every month on or before 10th, mandatory, with respect to what, sir? Stock movements in the warehouse. And as far as the whole warehouse is concerned, they have to digitally maintain the records. Electronically, they have to maintain the records in 2 places. 1, in the place of warehouse, making it immediately available. 2, in the remote backup storage place. Why? In order to recover the data in case of disaster. Disaster recovery management. How the warehouse should be, sir? It should be equipped with all such facilities.
Okay.
And the record should clearly say when goods are coming in, who accessed this, when part is removed, when it is fully removed. And I have to maintain the records for 5 years. From what day? From the date of removal of goods. From the date of removal of goods, I have to maintain it for 5 years. Sir, how he will validate goods which is coming into warehouse, sir? My dear, please understand here. I want to give you a few examples. And I just want to go for the page. See. Look at this, my dear. Let's understand. This is port. And for this port, where the goods are unloaded from the conveyance, let's understand this is how it works. We will have a proper customs officer, right? Everybody? And goods will be cleared from the port to a warehouse. It may be any warehouse. And this warehouse is a different region, and this warehouse region will have a proper customs officer. And this warehouse will have a warehouse keeper. My dear brothers and sisters, please understand. When the goods are going to move, when the goods are going to move from this place to the warehouse, proper customs officer here in the warehouse, he will put a lock which is called as one-time lock. And I very popularly call it as one-time bottle lock. See, this word bottle is a invention by Sita Raman. I will use it. It is my proprietariness. Okay. Why is there bottle? Very simple. Bottle nale you get to visualize glass bottles. Correct? Everybody? Plastic bottles very rare. See, the moment I say bottle, what comes to your mind is glass bottles. Transparent glass bottles. What will happen if a glass bottle is broken, my dear? Can it be fixed? If a glass bottle is broken, can it be fixed? No. Greats always used to say, in a relationship, trust is like a bottle. Trust is like a bottle. If you break it, it's gone. You can never fix it. How much ever you plead, apologize, you rearrange, you refix it, it's only a broken glass put together. Anytime it can break. So, my dear brothers and sisters, consciously in life, don't break trust. Remember Kattappa. Remember Manmohan Singh. These guys are great. Remember Bhishma Pitamath. These guys are great. Why, sir? They lived for the trust kept on them. That is why even today we are talking about. Someone for the good, someone not for the good. But still, we are talking about them. Live for the trust. Work for the trust kept by the principal on you. Yes. So why can't we use new lock in the same again? Shanmo Priyan. இந்த காலத்துல இப்படி பண்றீங்கப்பா. Taking the key print alone பண்ண முடியாதுப்பா. Because proper officer. Okay, I'll come again. Whatever Shanmupriyan asked, I said answer is no for him. Okay, that's it. Nothing. Shanmupriyan asked, why can't we put a new lock in that? See, what proper officer is going to put, that's a unique one-time lock, and if it is disturbed or damaged, it cannot be refixed. You can put a new lock, but that new lock will be different from the old one. No, that means it's very apparent you have changed it. And that lock is what, sir? That lock is almost like a barcode like of a thing. After seeing it like barcode like. So the conveyance which is going to travel from here, proper officer will put that one-time bottle lock here. And when this conveyance goes and reaches this warehouse, sir, warehouse keeper, he will do, sir, what he will do? First, he will check whether bottle lock or one-time lock is it intact. The first step what he will check is whether one-time lock is intact. Yes, sir, intact. See, there are two probabilities. He may find the lock intact or he may find it broken. Sir, what he will do if it is broken? He will immediately inform the proper officer, and he will also immediately inform this proper officer, wherein this proper officer will immediately make the goods subjected to duty assessment, because that driver has broken the trust. No, sir, one-time bottle lock is intact. So this warehouse keeper is doing good job. He is not acting as a whistleblower because one-time bottle lock is good. Okay. How much quantity we have sent here? How much quantity? Sir, somewhere 5,000 quantities sent, sir. Okay, 5,000 quantities are good. Warehouse keeper will actually open the one-time lock and warehouse keeper will check the goods. Quantity reconciliation. He will do the quantity recon. Two probabilities is there. What is that? It will match or it will not match. If it matches, he will permit the goods to be unloaded and loaded into the warehouse. He will allow the goods into the warehouse. If the quantity reconciliation does not match, he will again act as a whistleblower. He will communicate whom and whom and whom. He will communicate the proper customs officer in charge and also the proper customs officer of that particular port. He will communicate, wherein port proper customs officer immediately he will initiate the recovery proceedings. My dear, this entire process or small change. What will be the scenario if this is going to be the special warehouse or private warehouse, public warehouse? Will there be any difference? My dear, public warehouse and private warehouse, before checking this one-time bottle lock, warehouse keeper will inform this proper customs officer. He will call and say, or he will inform, sir, a vehicle has come. Shall I wait or shall I unload the goods? He will inform. This proper officer will say, okay, unload. After taking permission from this proper customs officer, this warehouse keeper will unload. He will then only start this verification process. Whereas, if it is a special warehouse, my dear, tell me what is the protocol. You have to tell me. You know that pretty well. If it is a special warehouse, what is that? Excellent Nanda. Spot on. Niruppuda. Nirunguda. Papa. அப்படிங்கிற நந்தா சூப்பர்யா வேற லெவல். Proper officer. Pakka product section. Proper officer have to be present. This warehouse keeper will inform, sir, goods have come. அப்படியா? Okay, I will come there. Proper officer will have to go. Only in the presence of proper officer, these verifications will be carried out. And permission to load the goods inside. Permission to load the goods inside the warehouse will also be supervised by whom? Proper customs officer. Guys, are you all with me? Same procedure will be followed, yeah. Same procedure will be followed whenever goods are removed out of the warehouse. Same procedure other than for home consumption. If goods are removed to another warehouse, same one-time bottle lock will be initiated by this proper officer and this will go to the next warehouse. That warehouse keeper will check the one-time lock and only if it is intact, he will accept after informing the proper customs officer and allow and do the quantity reconciliation. Only if the quantity reconciliation matches, he will allow the goods inside. Sir, goods are sent for export, sir. Very good export. Proper officer in the warehouse will put the one-time lock and goods will be sent to the port. In the port, the receiving proper customs officer of the port, he will check the one-time bottle lock intact. If he is happy intact, he may allow the goods as such without even carrying out the physical verification because both are proper customs officer. Trust is there. If he is required, if he thinks that quantity reconciliation is to be carried out, he can do, but not mandatory. Because export, no. So they are giving one privilege for him. This proper officer himself can come and do the verification and he can act in that place. So that's a speciality for only re-exports. But this is the requirement, procedures to be followed for movement of goods inside, outside the warehouse and taking the goods outside the warehouse. I have given you in the simplest form as a story. See, very simple. Replace yourself. You are the one in the proper customs officer. You please understand, you are the one in the proper customs officer. You want a diamond to be sent to your brother or sister and your friend is or some unknown person is coming to take in Dunzo. What precautions you will take? If you understand this, that's the procedure. Are you with me, my dear? Will you give the diamond just like that in an open box to that Dunzo fellow? Will you not put it in a box which is having the secret code lock and all? What, Shanmu brain? Diamond abdiye kuttu vitruveengala? You will give it as such? And if that lock is broken, what if he puts another lock? Will you be happy, Shanmu brain? Huh? Look at no. Huh? Then I will go. If your money, your diamond, you are able to think as such. See, this is what I am trying to say. Act is only the common sense in a bounded way. You just have to fill in that shoes. 1 second, my dear. Hey, Nanba, class la irukenda edha urgent la thiruppi pesuma. Night 9:15 ku mela pesuma. Yeah. Everybody, my dear. See, this is the common sense you will take as a precaution if it is your diamond, right? Same precaution proper officer as a custodian will take. Proper officer as a person responsible for this procedure, you will have to take. Simple, feel the proprietariness. That's it. Guys, is it law or common sense in a bounded way? Think. Shall we get into the law now? Let's get into the law. Everybody, is it clear? Hello? Come on, my dear. Everybody, let's quickly knock it down. Let's quickly knock it down. Look at this, my dear. And look at this. Custodians of good. So I have taken you through this all. And facilities, look at this. such facilities and equipments and warehousing na peri equipments, movement, lift, crane, everything should be there. All those facility, update adequate personal and equipment for examination, and adequate computer systems, accounts, receipt, storage, removal, you know, right from the conveyor belt. So many other aspects have to be there. Upgraded warehousing today, right? So those things have to be there. And maintenance of records, they are very clearly saying that records of receipts of storing and removal. Then oh my god, records of each activity of operation happened inside of records of drawal of samples. Drawal of sample is considered only upon payment of duty. Without payment of duty you can't draw a sample. Copies of bills of entry and other all documents you have to maintain and preserve it for the minimum period of 5 years from the date of removal, and it has to be preserved digitally, and they have to file a monthly return on or before 10th. All these things we have seen. What is the procedures to be followed on receipt of goods from another warehouse or custom station? Verify one-time lock affixed on it. Inform the bond officer immediately if the one-time lock is not found intact. Allowing the unloading provided one-time lock is found intact, and verify the quantity of goods received. Report any discrepancy in receipt quantity. Endorse the form and comply with the procedures. Endorse a bill of entry and retain one copy. Acknowledge the receipts and endorse the same. Take into record books all the details. My dear, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with these procedures here? See, don't mug up all these things. Just understand as a common sense. Are you comfortable? My dear, this is why I said this is going to be only storytelling time for me. Are you all comfortable? My dear brothers and sisters, are you all comfortable with custodians, facilities, maintenance of the record, and the procedures to be followed? Are you all comfortable? Everyone, my dear. That's it. Amazing. So now that stage 1 is thoroughly done and dusted. Big stage. Introduction. So we have done a thorough coverage of stage 1. Now I am going to stage 2. Guys, stage 1 what we have done? Just a brainstorm. Public, private, special warehouse. How it can get the inception. How this can be cancelled. Suspension, cancellation. What are all the conditions one have to fulfill. And custodian. What are all the responsibilities of the custodian and warehouse keeper, warehouse owner, licensee. All these aspects. What is the procedure the warehouse keeper have to follow when he receives the goods from another warehouse or to send the goods to another warehouse? We are knocking it down procedurally also. Are you all comfortable? Everyone? Yeah. Excellent, my dear. Excellent. So let's go for the next one now. Having understood stage 1, thoroughly covered stage 1. The next question. How shall I move the goods? When permission? How I get the permission to move the goods into the warehouse? These are all movement. How permission to get in itself will come. Guys, tell me, if you want to get into one home, rented house, what is that you will do? Warehousing of bonds, security bond, or which you already know, triple bond bill of entry. To cover the risk of government revenue with respect to the particular consignment or with respect to the particular importer. See, with respect to the importer, generally they go for the running bond. Running bond means it will be keep going and up, like your bank account. When you bring in, your bond value will come down, and when you clear the goods by payment of duty, bond value will go up. It will restore to the originality. So it is like that. So it will be like a running bond, or simply fair to say it is like your blood sugar. Running account is what like? It is like restoration. Sir, one importer comes who is regular into the import activity. We understand is a regular feature. So he comes and gives a bond for 10 lakhs. First he makes an import for 2 lakhs. Duty component there for 2 lakhs, and we understand triple bond bill of entry. Duty 2 lakhs means 6 lakhs. So obviously 6 lakhs will be reduced. Next day he makes another import for just 50,000. Another 1.5 lakhs. So 7.5 has been come down. And then he cleared the 6 lakhs. So his bond value is restored to 8.5. Now he can import up to 8. Like this, up and down will be there. Like our bank statement. Now, for every debit and credit, there will be a change. No? Similarly, the values will change. That's called running bond account.
SAPH.
That's called running bond account. Occasional importer will give consignment bond. Regular importer will give always running bond, which is also called as popularly general bond. 3 times to the value of the goods he has to make it. Triple bond bill of entry. In addition to the bond, importer is required to furnish a security equivalent to 25% of the bond value. See, bond with security in Sonale today, that's a bank guarantee. Surety will not be accepted. I have mentioned the surety here, but practically speaking, officers are insisting for BG, okay, bank guarantee to that extent of 25% along with the bond. It has to be furnished. So, proper officer will verify, proper customs officer in the port, he will verify whether application in triple bond bill of entry. Bill of entry in form 2 has been properly done. It is backed by bond equivalent to 300 times or three times of the value of duty, and then triple bond bill of entry. And is it backed by 25% of security? Yes, sir. All the boxes are ticked. Okay, they will grant you permission for removing the goods from the order of clearance of goods from port. Now, this is how it works. This is how it all works. So bond, surety, general bond, what is the clarity and all? So after this self-declaration, proper customs officer will verify that surety. He has this bond verification process is not part of your syllabus. But this will happen practically. For your practical knowledge I am giving you. Again I am telling you this is not part of your syllabus. Okay. So proper customs officer, after satisfying himself that these 3 requirements. What are the 3 requirements? Application in form 2. My dear, you remember what is form 2, which is bill of entry for warehousing. Everybody, do you remember bill of entry discussions? So yellow form has been made. Bond is there for 3 times of the duty involved, and security is also being given to the extent of 25% of the bond. Fine. Proper officer satisfied, he will pass an order of clearance of goods for warehousing. He will pass an order of clearance of goods for warehousing. My dear, upon passing of that order, goods will be permitted to be loaded on the conveyance, and once goods are loaded on the conveyance, proper officer will put one-time lock. Proper officer will put that one-time lock, and according to me, one-time bottle lock. And in that order of clearance of goods for warehousing itself, he will mention the details of one-time lock and the vehicle details, and he will send. Guys, you are with me? Now you get to know how goods are coming into warehouse. Everybody? Is it clear? Stage 2 over. Now stage 3. Permission to deposit. This we have discussed. Upon goods received at the warehouse, what warehouse keeper will do? So we have learned all these things here, guys. Can you confirm section 60 we have covered already? Thoroughly we have covered. Can you please recollect section 60? After satisfactory compliance of 59, proper officer will make an order permitting removal of goods from the custom station for the purpose of deposit in the warehouse. And after such order, goods will be removed to the warehouse in the prescribed manner. What is a prescribed manner? When goods are removed from the custom station, proper officer will fix a one-time lock on the container or the means of transportation, closed truckler. Serial number of the one-time lock, date, time of affixing, all shall be noted in the into-bond bill of entry and the transport documents. All custom stations shall maintain the records of serial numbers of one-time bottle lock, bill of entry, truck number, mapping everything information. However, Principal Commissioner may permit movement without fixing one-time bottle lock also, but for which Principal Commissioner have to record the reasons in writing. It's not that easy. It's a relaxation. Relaxation powers will not be used just like that. It's be used with extreme, scenario. Then warehouse keeper have to comply with the requirements of 73A. Guys, do you remember what is 73A requirements? Upon receipt of goods, warehouse keeper will first verify. First, he will inform the proper officer in charge of the warehouse. After getting acknowledgement from him, if not special warehouse, he will proceed to verify the one-time bottle lock. And one-time lock is intact, he will verify the physical quantity reconciliation. If physical quantity reconciliation also maps, then he will pass an permission to load the goods inside the warehouse. When there is a deviation, one-time lock is broken, or quantity reconciliation is not matching, then he will act as a whistleblower, communicating this information to both proper customs officer, wherein customs port officer will initiate the process of assessment and recoveries immediately. Guys, are you in the comfort zone? Officer who is actually any importer who wants to actually import the move the goods to warehouse, he has to immediately go where he has to immediately go and make an application, and only upon satisfaction of application with all the three requirements, proper officer will pass an order called clearance of goods for warehousing, and from that day goods can be moved, and with all subjective precautions goods can be stored in the warehouse. If there is any deviation in the section 73 procedure, then goods will not be allowed inside the warehouse. It will be assessed for the duty immediately along with the breaching penaltium varum. Guys, stage 2 manageable, simple, everybody. You should correlate the connectivity and then you should learn. You should not try to mug up the provision. My whole objective is making you understand and love these procedures as a cakewalk, because warehousing procedures are considered as a lengthiest theory process next to import export procedures, but I will prove it is not that way. It is not that way. It's a cakewalk. Guys, are you with me? Everybody. Sir, warehousing keeper is a person appointed by us only. No, sir. Yes, warehouse licensee have to appoint the warehouse keeper. My dear Prarik Saxena. Warehouse licensee have to appoint the warehouse keeper. Everybody? Okay, my dear. I propose a 5 minutes break. Okay. And today also we will be going up to... Sir, can't he involved in such fraud with the driver? My dear Pratik, fraud will always be there without acting as a whistleblower. My dear Pratik, with people want to earn money like Rajnikant without working like Rajnikant around us. People want to earn money like Virat Kohli without toiling like Virat Kohli. What to do, my dear Pratik? Definitely fraudsters are there. Definitely fraudsters are there. But these fraudsters can be avoided with lot of monitoring cameras today. So it can be managed. So you have to understand that. திருடராய் பார்த்து திருண்டாவிட்டால் திருட்டை ஒழிக்க முடியாது. Unless the person who is doing the non-compliance himself change, you can't avoid the non-compliance. It will be part and parcel. So it will be always willful. See, this is why you have to appreciate. Law assumes, you have to go and read this wonderful section 135 under the GST law, CGST Act. It says, there exists the presence of culpable mind always. I love that statement. Because today when we say our client, sir, this is a non-compliance, this will become an issue, please don't do this. Clients are saying, no, take the credit. If tomorrow problem comes, we will see, we will face. Oh. Do you want to say ignorance? Culpable mind. Law has been drafted beautifully here. Check section 135 of the CGST Act. Amazing. Right, my dear. I am giving you a 5 minutes break. Let's reorganize. My dear, I need your cooperation for completing this chapter. 2 stages mudichitom. Balance all are going to be cakewalk. Just like that it will fly. But only thing I request your cooperation. We are now taking up the 3rd stage. What is the 3rd stage? Sir, how long I have to keep the goods inside the warehouse? What is the consequences? What is the time limit restriction? Guys, are you all ready? Shall we go for the third stage? Everybody? Yes. 3rd stage, warehousing period. Guys, if the goods are meant for the supply in these four categories, okay, there is no time limit at all. I'm repeating again. If the goods are imported and warehoused, we are asking, let's understand, our Nanda is an importer. We are asking Nanda, Nanda, you imported this product, I understand. You warehoused this product, I understand. You're going to supply this product to whom? Sir, to 100% EOU, Electronic Hardware Technology Park, EHTP, Software Technology Park, STP, or for manufacturing operations in a warehouse. As I go to in the warehouse. Sorry, pa cold konja heavier. It will be okay soon. So if it is for these four purposes, any goods, whether inputs or capital goods, does not matter. There is no time limit for such clearance. Any amount of period it can be there, no restriction. Other than this four purpose, any goods, inputs or capital goods, no distinction. They can be stored in the warehouse for a period of maximum 1 year, or such other period of extension as may be granted by the proper officer. Sorry guys. See, here you have to understand one beautiful fact. What is it, sir? This is a maximum warehousing period, but usually warehousing period is decided on the factor of shelf life of the product. If at all a product is having 5-6 months shelf life, I can't allow it to be in warehoused for 1 year. Obviously it will expire. Expired products have no value, then I have to shed this out. So we have to be careful over here. So, and this 1 year will be calculated from what day? From the date of order of removal of goods to the warehouse from the custom station under section 60 subsection 1. What is 60 subsection 1? This is what section 60 subsection 1. So after satisfying all these things, they will pass an order for removal of goods to the warehouse. So permission for deposit of goods in the warehouse. So my dear, from the date of that order, 1 year will be calculated. And from the date, when I say, let's assume today is the date, 2nd February order is passed. My dear, from what day you will calculate 1 year? From what day you have to calculate 1 year? I clarified this to you when I was taking bill of entry. From the day, you have to calculate only from the, you have to only calculate from the next day. My dear, remember that. That's very, very important thing. Even in the GST law, the same category. When you're reading section 73-74 there, when you're reading section 12-13 there, very good prediction, Saxena. Superb. So you have to do that way, right? So now let's go for, sir, can I seek a warehouse extension period? Yes, you can request the commissioner. Commissioner has the power to extend it for a period of 1 year at a time. My dear, for 1 year at a time. That means they might actually go for multiple extension, it seems. But here is a small catch. Sir, this is the maximum time limit. But it has an inherent cost. What cost, sir? Interest payable. My dear, interest calculation under warehousing is a separate. Interest calculation under warehousing procedures is a standalone 4-mark question mark. It important. So we are asking, interest is payable on such warehouse goods provided 90 days has crossed from the date of deposit in the warehouse. That means to say from the date of order. That means to say from next day. If 90 days has lapsed, you have to clear within 90 days. If you clear within 90 days, no problem. And in case of 4 purposed goods, not at all an issue, no interest payable. Whereas in case of other than the 4 listed goods, How many number of days in the warehouse? First 90 day, up to 90 day, no interest. But carefully observe, my dear. 91st day till the date of actual clearance of the goods, you are supposed to pay interest at the rate of 15% per annum. So, expiry of 90 days to till the date of payment of duty on the warehoused goods. Till the date of payment of warehoused goods. My dear, this calculation is very important. Mark it very, very important. Mark it very, very important. Everybody, are you comfortable with the warehousing period? So, what is the criteria? First, in case of period of warehousing, ask, you are storing the goods for what purpose? If it is to be supplied for four purpose, then there is no time limit. Oh, what is the four purpose, sir? Point number one, if it is for 100% EOU. Second, if it is for EHTP. Third is for STP. Fourth is for manufacturing inside the warehouse. If this four purpose means no time limit, it can be there for any number of years also, no issues. Other than 4, it can be for a period of maximum 1 year or such extended period which commissioner has the power to do for a maximum of 1 year at a time. But either the actual period or the extension period, commissioner will do only based on what? Shelf life of the product. Beyond 90 days, other than the 4 listed purpose, if you store the goods from the order of clearance of goods for the warehousing purpose or from the date of deposit of goods in the warehouse, my dear brothers and sisters, you are subjected to pay interest at the rate of 15% from the 91st day till the date of actual payment of duty. Mark it very, very important. I expect a question in this area. This is a number crunching area. You might get a question, and my instinct says you will get a question in this area. Mark it important. Because in customs law, they don't have much of a strong robust build-up to check you on interest calculation. GST they can test you on interest calculation. Customs law, only in duty drawback and warehousing chapters you have interest calculation, number crunching area. So this two becomes very, very important. Either can, if your luck permits, both will come. So after completing this chapter, when we book back, when you go and solve, you will find it very useful. Mark it very, very, very important. Okay. So that's stage 3 warehousing period for you. Sir, whether proper officer can waive the interest? Sorry. Power to waive the interest is only with the board and not with the proper officer. My dear, this is an MCQ. Mark it very, very important. Power to waive interest in customs for warehousing purpose alone. Not for any other purpose. Not for any other purpose. Only for warehousing purpose alone. Only for warehousing purpose alone. CBIC has the power to waive the interest. Balance all scenarios. Interest is a mandatory component. No officer, no court can waive the interest. It's a time value of money component. Everybody, my dear. So that's by default it will go. By default it will go. Now we are going to the stage 4. What is stage 4? How I am going to deal with the goods inside the warehouse. I can actually deal with the goods by inspecting, sorting, arranging, then or for the purpose of potential customer I can also arrange inspection, then I can sell it, but no sample will be permitted. And I can do warehousing inside the I can do the manufacture inside the warehouse. These are the 2 permitted rights for me. Guys, are you comfortable with stage 3 warehousing period? Are you all comfortable? My dear, anticipate a question on the byproduct of this area. Interest calculation on the warehoused goods is very, very important. Expected popular question among the CMA students. Okay, so CA Institute borrows the questions from CMA Institute. So this chapter, this is one of the expected area. Mark it important. Clear, my dear? Everybody? Right. I'm going to the next one. Stage 4. We have come to stage 4. If you remember mindfully, there is only 5 stages which I have told you. Now we are in the stage 4. Stage 3 is over. Stage 4 we have come. How to deal with the goods inside the warehouse. Sir, owner of the goods can inspect. He can deal. He can rearrange to avoid the deterioration, loss and all those stuffs. He can sort the goods. He can rearrange the goods. And he can show the goods for sale. Potential buyer, he can show it for the sale. Sir, inspection, it's not for sale, Azara. Inspection is to check whether the goods are in proper condition. My goods are kept properly, orderly. I have to check. And mark it very, very important. MCQ area. No sample shall be permitted to be removed without payment of warehouse goods. My dear, previously it was permitted. Before 2016 regulation, this was permitted. That is why it is important. After 2016 regulation, this is not permitted. Guys, everybody, are you comfortable? Hello? Guys, first thing, right? One can do all these things. Next, sir, can I do manufacturing inside my warehouse? Guys, here is where the highlight coming for you. Manufacture is possible only in this two warehousing subject to these regulations. So what is the criteria for manufacturing area? Guys, very clearly I have said manufacture in warehouse is permitted only in case of private warehouse and special warehouse, and not permitted in public warehouse. Very, very, very clear regulation. From 2020 this was in place. From 2016 to 2020, 2016 to 2019 I should say, because 19 regulation was got amended, superseded by 2020 regulations. Okay, my dear. So till 2019, even public warehousing la manufacture was permitted, but owing to some frauds and other revelation, as Pratik Saxena was highlighting, what if pollution, teaming and lading happens, like that, lot of things were identified, and later on government said no manufacturing licensing for public warehouse. We are winding up that. We are closing that issue for you. Get lost up in time. So now that is subject to these two regulations. My dear brothers and sisters, I am not going into the depth of that regulations. Why I am giving this information to you? If at all anybody tomorrow practically want to know about private manufacturing the private warehouse or manufacturing the special warehouse, please do proceed to these regulations. These are not part of our syllabus, but it is my duty to enlighten you. You have something there to read for us. Not for the exam, but for the practice. Guys, everybody, is it loud and clear? Right. Sir, what I'm supposed to do, sir? See, my dear brothers and sisters, you have to make an application to the commissioner or the principal commissioner. That is to say, the licensing authority, the authority who has granted you the license. You have to make an application requesting to carry out manufacturing activity with respect to goods stored in the warehouse and subject to the restrictions and conditions placed by him, and getting the permission on the bond and security. You will be permitted to do. You will be permitted to do, and it might be under a supervision of a proper officer, or it might not be under the proper officer supervision. Anything can happen. But remember, if it is without supervision of the proper officer, sir, why, sir? Private warehouse is not under the custody, lock and control of the proper officer. So what can happen? What can happen is that proper officer in charge of the premises can visit you. Surprise visit, surprise verification. Are you carrying out according to the regulations, listed conditions maintained? And here the importer and the manufacturer who is carrying out this verification, carrying out the manufacturing activity into the warehouse premises, he has to keep the quantity reconciliation records very carefully, very clearly. How much is the quantity has brought into the warehouse, how much quantity has taken for processing, how much is the output quantity, he has to very clearly maintain. And in that process, definitely scrap will be a question. So what will happen to scraps? Let's see. It is something very similar to the job work discussion. If you have understood the job work discussion under 143 of the CGST Act, it's very similar to that. So manufacturer removing the manufactured product in the warehouse for home consumption, he is obligated to pay the duty on the goods. Only upon payment of duty he can do this. So it's very simple, like any other home consumption clearance. Sir, what if manufactured product he is exporting? My dear, main products, no duty is payable. But scrap what he is dealing. Sir, he's destroyed the scrap, sir. He destroyed the scrap. Irrevocably, that's very important. Irrevocably destroyed the scrap. Not gained 1 rupee benefit out of it. No duty is payable. Sir, that fellow sold the scrap in India, sir. Then he is liable to pay. As such, he has imported the scrap. This is a classic example of denaturing of goods. And I remember giving the same as example for you when I am dealing with denaturing of the goods. Guys, you remember? I came to section 65 and I gave you this example. You remember? Hello? Arey Baba, recollection is very important. My dear, that's the end. That's the end of what? Stage 4. That's the end of stage 4. Power to exempt imported materials used in the manufacturing of goods in warehouse. Certain cases, power has been granted to exempt the product. Why, sir? I shall tell you the reason later on. But let's first read. Why? Very simple. Sir, imported product is taxed at a certain percentage. So let me give you an example with numbers so that it will be better for you. Guys, let's have a small example. I imported material A. Import of goods. I then used it in the manufacture. Used in the manufacture of product B. Everybody, my dear? On this import, let's understand the rate of duty, whatever I'm supposed to pay. I'll give you in quantum so that it will be easy. It will be 1 lakh. But I used that as an input and I manufactured product B, and product B, whatever the tax I'm supposed to pay is say only 50,000 rupees. Typical inverted duty structure model. Typical inverted duty structure model. My dear Pratik Saxena, if goods are cleared for home consumption, my dear brother, please appreciate, if the goods are cleared for home consumption, we will be paying the import duty on the imported goods. Right? That will be paying to the customs authority. And for selling the goods inside the India, on the finished goods, you will be paying GST separately. Right? So that's a separate category. I hope interest I clarified your doubt. Yeah, Pratik, correct. So coming back to the stream. Guys, focus here. Importer has imported a material for 1 lakh and he used it in the manufacturing of product B. Product B is now getting taxed. The total tax itself is 50,000. Typical inverted duty structure model. My dear, government here has, subject to lot of conditions, government can exempt 50k on import of goods. Guys, are you with me? Everybody? Hello? My dear, are you comfortable with the last provision of the stage 4? Shall we move up to stage 5? Everybody? So what are the things we have done so far? Look at the 4 stages. We created the warehouse. We brought the goods inside the warehouse. We understood the time limit for warehouse. And finally, we have understood what after I can do goods inside my warehouse. I have completed this 4. Now the last leg is coming up. How to remove the goods from warehouse. Guys, are you all with me? Shall we proceed to the last leg? Everybody? Removal of goods from one warehouse to another warehouse. My dear brothers and sisters, tell me, have we discussed this? Are you aware of this process? You tell me what will happen. My dear, have we discussed this all? One warehouse to another warehouse, what is the process? Have we checked this all? Had we covered? Or do I have to read it again for Sampradayam? Do I have to read it again for Sampradayam? Or can you manage, my dear?
Yes, sir.
You can, right? It's a simple same story.
Yes.
First, get the vacancy available there. Come back over here.
Show the arrival certificate.
Give the availability certificate. Proper officer will come and put a one-time lock. Transfer the goods. All vehicle details, everything will be noted. And when it goes to the new place, that person will first inform the proper officer. And in case of a special warehouse goods, he will call the proper officer, will himself have to be present. They will check the one-time bottle lock, then quantity reconciliation, then permission inside. Fine, my dear. Everybody? My dear brothers and sisters, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm skipping the first part. I'm going to the second part. Clearance of goods from the warehouse. Sir, we've spoken about shifting the goods. What are the other ways in which I can clear the goods? Very simple. You can clear the goods for home consumption by way of paying of taxes, and without payment of tax you can actually re-export the goods. My dear, careful analysis is required. Now tell me, how many ways in which you can clear the goods from the warehouse? Is only three methods. One, you clear the goods for other warehouse. Two, you clear the goods for home consumption. Three, you clear the goods for export. Super Ramji. Only three methods. Now, clearing of the goods for home consumption. My dear, I have clearly given you the valuation mechanism. Do you remember the valuation mechanism we discussed over here? Everybody? Home consumption, ex-bond bill of entry. We have to pay all the taxes. Recollect the relevant rate of customs duty for warehoused goods. We understood the relevant rate of customs duty is the rate of customs duty existing on the date of filing ex-bond bill of entry. You remember that? Right? So, my dear, we have to pay the taxes and duties accordingly, and then we will have to clear the goods for home consumption. Sir, what if the owner relinquishes, sir, because he will not come forward to file? No, very good. If the owner relinquishes for the reasons other than offences, he has to pay the warehousing charges alone. He has to pay the warehousing charges alone. Okay, sir, in case of export, what is the protocol, sir? You need not file ex-bond bill of entry. Instead, you have to file the shipping bill. Guys, remember the export procedures we have done? Mindful about it? Revise panningla? Right? Everybody? Yeah, you need to file this particular content. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, the note is a common aspects. Export procedures, everything have to be followed. If the central government is of the opinion that the goods are likely to be smuggled back, they may not allow the export, or they may allow the export subject to conditions. So that's a very common criteria. So guys, we are on the verge of completing the stage 5. What is stage 5? Removal of goods from warehouse. 3 purpose. 1 for another warehouse. Procedures we are mindful. 2 for home consumption. We are mindful about the procedures. 3 for export purpose. Everybody, are you comfortable? Now only one thing is left. What is that, sir? What if the goods is of volatile nature, evaporative in nature, wherein when I stored it is 100 liters, wherein when I want to remove it, it is only 95 liters due to the nature of the goods. How I am going to proceed? Tell me, my dear, what should be the logical answer there? What should be the logical answer? Sir, I am keeping petrol, for example. Guys, how many of you observed? Your vehicle will give 3 to 4 kilometers extra mileage if you fuel it in the early morning. Early morning, 5:36, if you fuel your vehicle will give you extra mileage. Have you ever observed it? Yeah, excellent, Ramji. If you fuel your vehicle in the mid of the day, that's to say between 12 p.m. to evening 4 p.m., 12 noon to evening 4 p.m., your mileage will be less. You know why? Because of the heat, the petrol would have got expanded. The density level of the petrol will be lessened. It will be less during the high heat time, meaning thereby it will be expansive. So it would have got expanded. Hulk மாதிரி எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆயிருக்கும். நீங்கள் அப்போ ஃபியூல் பண்ணீங்கன்னா கடன்னு குவான்டிட்டி காட்டும். ஆனால் உள்ளே போய் இறங்கினோடனே மைலேஜ் குறைஞ்சிட்டே வரும். That's what the reality is all about. Sir, a petrol-like product. Petrol is also good. If I store it in the warehouse and because of natural evaporation and natural heat, if it gets evaporated, what will I do, sir? Predict section. This time, Nature of the product, this is not the loss. Nature of the product is so tough to understand, or we appreciate there will be a natural loss in this process because of the evaporation. So law says collect the tax as such is imported only 95 liters. Welcome to volatile goods, and my dear, I am making it a very very clear thing. See, we have come almost on the verge of this area. We have only few more restrictions to be learned. Another 5-10 minutes is over. 5-10 minutes class will be over for this topic for you guys. But let's take this a very practical learning. Look at this, my dear brothers and sisters. Look at this. Volatile goods. Only specified volatile goods. Sir, what are all the volatile goods specified, sir? For practical sake, I have given you the list of goods which is under this category. Where volatile goods are found to be deficit at the time of removal, such deficiency on account of natural loss, that is owing to the natural loss, normal loss, duty will be collected on the import on such deficiency and may be remitted by the proper officer. Meaning thereby, sir, quantity warehouse to quantity removed is called as normal loss, and in such normal loss, which is shortfall, import duty will be remitted by the proper officer. May be remitted. See, what do you mean by remission? It will be waived. So exemption will be granted for that 5 quantity in our example. So how much you warehouse? 100 liters. How much you remove? 95. So what is the natural loss? 5 liters. So import duty on the 5 liters will be remitted, meaning thereby you will be asked to pay the duty only on 95 liters. That's allowance of volatile goods. And my dear brothers and sisters, now it's only a procedure to knock down. So what is the restriction for removal of goods from the warehouse? Guys, very simple. You can remove it only for 3 purposes. Fourth one might be for something. I'll tell you what. First one for home consumption. Second one, exportation. Third one, removal of another warehouse. So what is otherwise provided in the Act, sir? Section 65. Manufacture within the warehouse. If at all you are removing the goods, no warehouse goods shall be taken out of the warehouse except for the above reasons. If you take it out, what will happen, sir? It will be called as improper removal of goods, and you will be asked to pay the full duty, interest and fine. My dear brothers and sisters, this part, warehousing of IGST goods and its calculation, I have taken this along with the import-export procedures. You remember this, my dear? What if importer himself clears? What if importer sells part of the goods, full of the goods, and on what value you are supposed to calculate the IGST calculation? Guys, can you recollect this? Can you recollect this? My dear brothers and sisters, right? I am taking straight away. So section 71 kapra, I am straight away taking you to section 72. Where goods are improperly removed. Sir, what do you mean by improper removal? My dear brothers and sisters, please understand what is improper removal, and then you can look at the consequences. Consequences is very simple. You will be asked to pay the tax, interest, fine, and penalty. That's a consequence. But what is improper removal itself is a great learning awareness for us. Why, sir? Goods warehoused goods are removed in contravention to 71. What is 71? 71 says only 4 methods. Home consumption, warehousing, removal and manufacture. These are the only 4 permitted methods. Warehouse goods not cleared without the warehousing period. My goodness, mind-blowing provision. My dear, you have not received an extension. 1 year is lapsed. 1 year completed. The next day, 1 year and first day, after the completion of 1 year, the first day, it is that you are deemed to have removed the goods illegally. Improper removal is said to be performed. That means department has a full right to demand duty, interest and fine. Sir, here interest is a criteria. Interest will be asked for how many days? Can I have an answer? Interest will be calculated for what period here? Excellent, Ramji. After the 91st day. Amazing. After the 90 day. From the 91st day. My dear Ramji. Prarik. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent, Prarik. Ramji. Not after 91st day. My dear. Yeah. All of you are amazing, I'll tell you. So, when I point out any small mistakes, don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. My objective is to ensure you guys are scoring abundance. Customs la 25 out of 25 should be in your pocket. That's my objective. Okay, so I'm duty bound to clarify that. So after 90 days, till the date of actual clearance, amazing content, guys. Goods with respect to which bond under section 59 has been executed. Goods with respect to which bond under section 59 has been executed, not cleared for home consumption, or exports are not duly accounted for. Oh my goodness. Bond has been executed, but I haven't cleared it for home consumption. Or I'm not maintaining a proper account. See, this is one of the teasing area. See, this is where you guys have to recollect the customs audit. You guys recollect when I was teaching you the customs audit, I told you very clearly, mostly a transaction audit will convert into premises audit. And when premises audit comes into picture, accounts and records will be verified. Wherein if they get to know accounts and records you have not properly maintained with respect to the warehouse goods, you have gone. It will be equivalent to considering illegal removal of goods. So immediately you will be asked to pay all these things. Highly teasing thing. But if you are compliant, you need not worry. If you are a non-compliant, you have everything to worry. Right, my dear? So let's go ahead and finish off the notes so that we are in a very good shape to close it down and ignore others. Warehouse goods cannot be removed, taken from the warehouse as sample. This we have already known. If the owner of the warehouse good fails to pay the amount, then what will do? The proper customs officer shall give the notice to him, will then serve the detention order, then serve the confiscation notice, and then he will auction the goods. That's what finally. And sir, this is for someone who is not removing or illegally removing. What if someone properly removes the goods, pays the duty, and then takes the goods home, or exports without payment of duty? Bond will be cancelled, security will be returned. When all the goods are covered by the bond executed under section 59 have been cleared for home consumption, export, transfer to another warehouse, or otherwise accounted, which is manufacturing, and when all the amount of duty, interest, fine, penalty, everything has been paid, proper customs officer shall cancel the bond, discharge it fully. That's it. So end of story. Subhamastu. Let's recollect the 5 stage. My dear, 5th stage, manner of clearance pakro. What is permissible manner of clearance? What is illegal removal? Improper removal pakro. Improper removal na what is the consequences pakro. Proper removal na how proper officer will react. That is the end of stage 5. So 5 stages, 30 provisions. Stage 1, how warehousing is created, maintained, cancelled, subject to conditions. Suspension and then cancellation. Stage 2, how goods moves into warehouse. Stage 3, how long I can keep the goods inside the warehouse. Stage 4, when the goods are inside warehouse, what I am permitted to do. Stage 5, how can I clear the goods? What if I don't clear? What if I clear properly? That's it. A beautiful chapter called warehousing, updated with all the relevant amendments as on day. My dear brothers and sisters, are you comfortable? That's the end. We covered custodian already, so that's the end of this chapter. My dear brothers and sisters, are you all comfortable? Everybody, do a small favor to me, my dear brothers and sisters. Do a small favor to me. Revise it immediately. Sir, the person who opts export will be bond written. Yeah, yes, Parshuraman, yes, it will be returned, my dear. Look at this. I want this to be, taken note of. Clearly, please have a look at it. Where all the goods covered by the bond are cleared for home consumption or export or transfer to another warehouse. So, either be, see, in case of another warehouse it is transferred, your bond will be with the other warehouse keeper. That's it. But when it exports and home consumption has been properly carried out, then bond will be cancelled and it will be returned, Mr. Parshuraman. Is it clear? My dear Parshuraman. Yeah, very good, my dear. My dear, any doubts? Take your time, go through, revise, Today notes will be sent. Tonight itself, please read twice. Tonight itself, please read twice. Read my notes, and after that, compulsory walkthrough of ISM. See, I'm time and again I'm telling you, ISM is a like holy book. Okay, you have to read the ISM. All the book backs in ISM and illustration in ISM you have to solve, and that's your homework. My dear brothers and sisters, can I expect accountability from you? Can you go through this and come back and ask your doubts? Definitely it will not be there, but you have to practice, right? Create accountability. Bless yourself with an abundance mark. Wishing you all success. Happy night, my dear brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for the extended time and cooperation. See you all Friday evening. Good day, my dear. On that day, we'll start with refund. Good day, my dear. Thank you so much. Happy evening, my dear brothers and sisters. Sorry for the delay and sorry for yesterday's cancellation. I am extremely sorry. Something which is not in my control. So I hope and trust you're comfortable. Thank you so much, and I'll be grateful if you can actually have voice participants chat. Thank you so much. Happy evening, all, my dear. So let's start the beautiful day, guys. Last session, yeah. Thank you so much, my dear. All last session we completed this beautiful chapter called warehousing. So I just want to have a confirmation from all of you. Have you guys revised? Did you guys got the notes? Have you received the notes? Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Excellent. Revised. Any doubts in warehousing? See, few fine tunings with common sense approach is also required here. And I first and foremost think urge. Let me share an open secret, but still it is very effective. See, any new chapter or amendments or topics included in CA final syllabus, any new chapter, any new amendments or anything which is getting inducted into the CA final syllabus, my dear brothers and sisters, have one thing very clear. Please ensure Institute ISM examples, book back, everything has been thoroughly covered. First 2 to 3 examinations, questions will be picked only from the institute material. After that only exploration goes and they borrow from the other institutes also sometime. Am I loud and clear? Is it pakka? Everybody? Right? So it becomes imperative for us to have a look into few examples and fine tune our understanding. Guys, I have a small question for all of you to answer. What is the relevant rate of exchange? What is the relevant rate of exchange for warehousing? So today I'm going to touch upon warehousing, and then I'm going to start up with refund, and then if time permits I'm going to step up myself into next area called foreign trade policy. So this is the agenda for the day. So my dear, let's get into a few aspects, right? And let me give you one more update. I've just shifted to a new place. Okay, so we are not having any proper setup over here. When a topic is introduced, irrespective of its introduction, every now and then Institute ISM illustrations and book backs are very, very important. So I have done this for all other chapters the same way here also I am doing. Let us go ahead and take the Institute examples and the book backs so that we will see an answer where we are. And if at all any fine tuning case class is to be learned also, we will update ourselves. Let's go ahead. First, getting into this mainstream. List of sections, whatever we have given, it is the same thing they would have given there. Sir, we know the relevant rate of customs duty, for warehoused goods is date of ex-bond bill of entry or date of bill of entry for home consumption filed after warehousing the goods. Guys, are we clear? Have we read this in relevant rate of customs duty? My dear brothers and sisters, have we read this in the relevant rate of customs duty provision? Why in case of export, my dear Savitri? Yeah, very good, Savitri sister. Yes. Another scenario is that I'll come back to that sister. Come back to that scenario. First, let us clarify here. Thank you, Nanda and Pradeep. Excellent, Ramji. Very good. In import-export procedures, we have learned the relevant rate of customs duty. You all right? In that context, Please recollect. In that context, we have recollected very clearly. If on the date of filing ex-bond bill of entry, the relevant rate of customs duty becomes 0. My dear, that means the goods are exempted, no duty is payable. Sir, when the goods are warehoused on the date of filing into bond bill of entry, it carried some rate of tax. That is why I am giving triple bond bill of entry for that. That's all fine. But what happens subsequently? At the time of filing the ex-bond bill of entry, it has become 0. What is the relevant rate of customs duty? The relevant rate of customs duty is the duty existing on the date of filing ex-bond bill of entry. Therefore, relevant rate of customs duty becomes 0%. My dear, when there is no customs duty itself, where is the question of interest? Whether interest becomes payable? No. This is one scenario. Second scenario, as my sister correctly said, export scenario. Sir, I have imported the goods and I have kept the goods in warehouse and I am exporting the goods after clearing the goods from warehouse. Now, we understand most of the time for the export, we understand the rate is 0%. Exports are mostly exempted. Now understand, now there is no duty payable at all. When there is no duty payable, my dear, where is the question of interest? Again, it will not be there. So these are two scenarios which can happen there. In the first point, wherein they are pondering, they have not given or they have not enlightened you on the scenario when it can happen, but these are the two scenarios how it can happen. Now, having discussed the relevant rate of customs duty for warehousing, I just have another question. What is the relevant rate of exchange? What is the relevant rate of exchange for warehoused goods? What is relevant rate of exchange? Please go and check the chart clearly, my dear. We have done good enough in the chart. Come on, my dear brothers and sisters, think of that way. Excellent. It is date of filing, bill of entry. No, not date of removal, my dear, correct. Not date of removal. No, Savitri sister, it is not ex-bond file, bill of entry. Bill of entry is on the date of filing into bond bill of entry. See, this is one interesting oxymoron learning I gave you very clearly. You have to have the two charts what I have presented to you very clearly next to next, and then only you can go through that. Please, my dear brothers and sisters, go through the charts I have given for this purpose. Go to relevant rate of exchange chart. Have a look at that. We have written very clearly there. It is a date of filing bill of entry in case of home consumption and date of into bond bill of entry. Date of into bond bill of entry in case of warehousing. That is what sections and provisions have to say for us, my dear. And we cannot override the section. Sir, why you are teaching me about relevant rate of customs duty for warehousing, relevant rate of exchange? Why you are revising these points? My dear brothers and sisters, we have to calculate the duty payable on that, right? On the warehoused goods, we have to calculate the duty payable, interest payable. That will be a problem next. So you have to, work on those lines. Are you all comfortable? Everyone? So the first point is over. I am going for the second point. So first point is based on when customs duty becomes 0. So for answer for that is, sir, if removal can be done only when that the bill of entry for home consumption is filed. Yes, Pratik Saxena, excellent. You're right. You're 100% right. But bill of entry has to be filed for all permissible goods, not necessarily only for taxable goods, dutiable goods. Even for exempted goods, you have to file, right? Got it? Very good, my dear. Excellent. Now, my dear, let's go for the second point. Goods which are not removed from the warehouse after the expiry period permitted for the warehouse or extended are deemed to be improperly removed in terms of section 72. My dear, have we learned improper removal? Did I educate you? Did I enlighten you guys saying that if goods are not removed within the specified period, if the goods are not removed within the specified period, then it is deemed to have been removed, and such removal becomes illegal removal, and immediately upon which taxes will be demanded. Have we discussed this all? Right. Now, one small correlative point is required. On that day, I told you very clearly, it is deemed to have been removed on expiry of the period. Fine. On expiry of such period, it has happened. I totally agree. If it is deemed to have been removed means, it is deemed to have been removed for what purpose? For consumption purpose. That means, please understand, the rate of duty, the rate of customs duty usually is applicable on the date of export bill of entry will be calculated or considered on such improper removal date. On such improper removal date, it will be considered. Guys, are you with me? Everyone? Right? So these are some of the contexts wherein bulb kuduthirukangale, don't think too much and all. It is not a bulb. It is actually already we covered it. If you are not able to improvise, we will become bulb. So adukku they are given the bulb. Okay. It's a bright point, but again, it's a very good point. These are all application skill sets. Whatever we have learned the last session is a complete, understanding of concept and now application of concept. So that's a difference we are getting into the streams. Okay. Now, first example itself. Let's have a look into the first example. Okay. Guys, an exporter, an exporter other than the EHTP, STP, 100% EO unit, imported some goods and deposited the same in the warehouse on 12th of April. These goods are re-exported without payment of duty on 15th August. With reference to the Customs Act, discuss any interest under section 61 of the Customs Act is payable. Tell me, my dear, is that any interest is payable? Goods are re-exported. Think. When goods are re-exported, nothing is given. So you have to write an assumption, because export goods may attract the duty, may not attract the duty. Right? So you have to write an assumption. What assumption you will be writing? Exports are dutiable, exports are not dutiable. What do you will write? Exports are non-dutiable, therefore no interest is payable. Excellent, 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 everybody, excellent. That's it. That's it. A very simple improvisation. And end of the day, they will also give you some case law references. Don't panic. Don't panic on seeing case law references and all. Okay, just go ahead to note it down separately. And since it's a Supreme Court judgment, you can also have a look into it. Wherein Pratibha Processors versus Union of India 1996 Supreme Court judgment, wherein it is held that when the taxes itself, duty itself is not there, where is a question of interest. Very beautifully they have said that upon removal of goods where the whole duty, where whole customs duty is exempted from the payment, whole removal is exempted from the duty of payment, the liability to pay interest cannot be saddled on a non-existing duty. Look at the beautiful phrasings. With me, my dear, therefore no interest is payable. Let's go for the illustration 2. Illustration 2 says, Comment on the validity of the following. Goods other than capital goods intended for use in any 100% EOU can be warehoused till expiry of 5 years. Tell me, my dear. 100% EOU goods, is there any time limit for warehousing? Period. Excellent, excellent, very good. That's sparkling. There is no time limit. Excellent, yeah. Very good response. Excellent, yeah. Nanda Savitri, classic. Guys, a classic. So, first question you answered, meaning thereby that particular statement is valid or invalid. You have to answer the language. You have to use the language what they use. So, tell me, my dear, is it valid or invalid? Statement A, valid or invalid? Excellent, yeah. Invalid. You guys are classic. Statement 2. Interest-free period of 90 days under section 61 subsection 2 in respect of warehoused goods commences from the date on which into bond bill of entry in respect of such goods is presented. My goodness. Go ahead, my dear. Validate the statement. Tell me the time period shall be calculated on what day. From what day? You will first tell me the provision and then you can tell me whether it is valid or invalid. From what day it is valid? Is it from the date of filing into bond bill of entry? Or is it from the date of depositing the goods in warehouse, which is date of removal of goods from the port to warehouse? It is order of removal of goods from the port to warehouse. From what day? Date of order for warehousing. Excellent, my dear brothers and sisters. That's excellent. Therefore, second statement is also valid or invalid? Second statement is also valid or invalid? Second statement is also invalid. And let's check the answer. First one invalid, second one is also invalid. So let me go to other areas and check out. We have anything here. We have a lot of examples they have given. You can look into the examples, but it's absolutely fine. So let me take you through illustration 3. If a manufacturer is operation, if a manufacturing operations are carried out on warehoused goods and finished products are cleared for home consumption, then appropriate duty of the customs duty be levied on the quantum of the warehoused goods contained in the waste or refuses arising out of such manufacturing process. Examine the validity of the said statement in the context of section 65 dealing with the manufacture and operation in relation to the warehoused goods. Tell me, my dear, whether is it valid? Excellent. See, Nanda is sparkling. Nanda, karachu kudichittenu nenikiren parana. I'm really proud about the way you are progressing. I'm really, confident that with your responses, every one of you will score out of in customs. That's a dream for me. Of course, I'm not, in a position to validate. No duty is payable on, finished goods. Only duty is payable on waste and scrap. As such, it's a denaturing process. That is permissible only if the finished goods are exported, right? So even I thought they're going in that line, but then look at the answer. Answer they thought whether even for the duties and scraps and waste you are liable to pay the tax. Answer is yes. Even that be the case, I allowed to pay the tax. So that's illustration number 3 for you, my dear. These kind of questions are teasing because question will lead you to one thought process, whereas answer is based on certain assumptions underlying. So question would have been betterly worded here. With all due respects, we will post instead of chat accounts regarding the same. Sir, is it possible, sir? Yes, Institute is extremely, listening to everybody who is actually, giving validation. So definitely it's possible. We can actually, make it better. So any other illustrations? Let's have a look into any other illustrations. Probably, yeah, I have illustration number 4 coming up for us. Enumerate the circumstances under which goods are considered to have been removed improperly from a warehouse. My dear brothers and sisters, do you remember section 72, improper removal? Let's go and take up the first question. Mr. Vipul imported certain goods in May. An into-bond bill of entry has been presented on 14th of May, where cleared from the port for warehousing. So 14th May is into-bond bill of entry. So that means what is the relevant rate of exchange? The relevant rate of exchange is what? My dear brothers and sisters, what is the relevant rate of exchange? Hello? It is a date of filing Interbond bill of entry. 14th May is the relevant date for relevant date of exchange. Okay, and the assessable value on that dates was $1 lakh dollars. The order permitting deposit of the goods in the warehouse for 4 months issued on 21st May. So order permitting the deposit is happens on 21st of May. That means from that date only you should calculate 90 days for interest purpose. Remember that. Vipul deposited the goods in the warehouse on the same day but did not clear the imported goods even after warehousing period of 20 even got completed on 21st of October. A notice was issued under section 72 of the Customs Act 1962 demanding the duty at the interest, because once the warehousing period is over, we all understand it is deemed to have been cleared. We all understand it is deemed to have been cleared, right? So the relevant rate of exchange on this day, the relevant rate of customs duty on this day becomes a relevant rate. Just now we have clarified this point because that becomes a order of clearance for home consumption, deemed to be the order of clearance for home consumption. The notice was issued under section 72 demanding the duty and interest. Vipul cleared the goods on 14th of October. Compute the amount of duty payable. My dear, go ahead to solve this problem. I'll be back in few minutes. My dear. Guys, tell me what is the answer? Let's go ahead to discuss the answer for this particular area. It's a beautiful one. Quickly pondering upon this problem, they focus on relevant rate of exchange for warehouse goods, relevant rate of customs duty for warehouse goods, and mark my word, this is a potential 5-mark question in the main examination. It's a potential examination of the 5-mark question. My dear, we have already freezed point number 1. We have freezed relevant rate of exchange is on 14th May. Therefore, 1 lakh US dollars. 1 lakh US dollars will be exchanged at the rate of 1 lakh US dollars will be exchanged at the rate of 65.20. It will be exchanged at the rate of 65.20. Okay. And what is the relevant rate of customs duty? Basic customs duty we have to take up. Basic customs duty we have to consider. What is the rate? The date on which the warehousing period got over without extension, which is 21st September. My dear, on 21st September, what is the rate of exchange? What is the basic customs duty? It is 10%. So, my dear brothers and sisters, it is going to be 1 lakh multiplied by 65.20, which is 65 lakh 20,000, roughly speaking around, multiplied by 10%. So 6,52,000 will be the duty component, 10% basic customs duty. And don't forget, we have to calculate social welfare surcharge and all those stuffs going forward, right? And integrated tax levied under section. They have given very clearly IGST. IGST is exempted and all those stuffs. Agricultural and Development Cess is also exempted. They have said. That means only we have to calculate basic customs duty and social welfare surcharge, which is 10% of that. So we will be calculating that as well. And interest is calculatable from what day? Interest is calculated from what day? That's very important. And notice was issued under section 32 demanding duty and interest from Vipul. Vipul cleared the goods on 14th of October. So till 14th October, we assume we have to pay the interest. Compute the amount of duty payable. So basic customs duty is equal to 1 lakh US dollars into 65.20 multiplied by 10%, and after that social welfare surcharge 10%. And compute the amount of interest payable. So interest is going to be a very interesting criteria. Why, sir? Order of clearance for home consumption has been given on 21st of May. And that too for 4 months. So from 22nd of May you should start calculating from the next day. 90 days you should calculate. So that means it will expire on some day. So from that someday we have to calculate the interest at the rate of 15% per annum. Can someone do the calculation? Let me know. Can someone let me know? Very good. Yeah, excellent. So 21st May interest amount itself has been given. Let's go ahead to validate the answer, my dear. There is one more question. We will come back to the one more question, but go ahead to validate the answer. My dear brothers and sisters, look at this. My dear all, do you remember me teaching you social welfare surcharge very clearly? I was always saying you, whenever the word total customs duty is given, whether it is Whether it is informed to you or not, you are duty bound to calculate social welfare surcharge. And look at this, what has happened? Exactly 7,17,200 by way of social welfare surcharge addition to customs duty. We are nailed. We have nailed it to perfection. And interest component is to be calculated. Interest is to be calculated from the 91st day. And all these explanations I have given. See, up to 90 days there is nothing. So from 91st day they are calculating. So period of 90 days commencing from the date of order expires under section 60. On what day? 19th August it gets expires. That means 19th August to 14th October. Number of days. You please have a look at this, my dear. 12 days in August they are counting. 12 days in August they are counting. How, sir, 12 days? My dear, leave your fingers and count. You will understand. 90 days on 19th August. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. It might look at 11 days, but actually it is 12 days. So from 20th, 91st day to August 31st, and then September 30 days, October 14 days. Total number of delay workaround of 56 days. My dear, look at this. Total customs duty payable 7,17,000 multiplied by 15% multiplied by 56 divided by 365 rounded off to the nearest of 1. It is 16,505. The probable mistakes which a student might do in this interest calculation is point number 1. They might forget to calculate the social welfare surcharge and they calculate interest on the basic customs duty alone. Probable error number 1. Probable error number 2. Not calculating this date in a proper manner. They might be sodifying around this date. Okay. This is probability number 2. And probability number 3 is forgetting that this is 15% per annum and we have to proportionate it to the number of days. Straight away 15% will be calculated on this. This is the third probable error. Excellent. Very good, sister. Correct. Perfect. Guys, if at all you have done this, any of the 3 mistakes, it's very common. Don't feel guilt. It's very common. It is quite understandable, acceptable. No issues. Because 99% out of 100 students will do this mistake, any one of these mistakes. So if you do this, you are absolutely normal, you are common, you're done. If you have not done this, you have correctly nailed the answer as few of you tried over here, you are perfect, you are 100% good. Okay, you are extremely positive, not COVID positive. Okay, your attitude is extremely positive. Okay, so keep it think. Nowadays, be positive and solradhukku varthama irukku. Okay, so I'll go ahead for the second question. What is the second question? PL Limited imported super kerosene oil and stored it in the warehouse. An ex-bond bill of entry for the home consumption has been filed and the duty was paid as per the rate prevalent on the date of presentation of such bill of entry. Correct. And the order of clearance for home consumption was passed. Very good. On account of highly combustible nature of SKO, the importer made an application to permit the storage of the such kerosene oil in the same warehouse until the actual clearance for the sale. The applicable application was allowed. However, the rate of duty was increased when goods were actually removed from the warehouse. See, think this way. I have booked a car. Due to budget, there will be some variance. Rumors have spread. So I have booked a car dated 1st of February. Car was billed to me in my name for 6 lakhs. Later on, 10th of March, price exceeded. Can the company fellow come and ask me the differential rate? Is it possible? Will I pay? Same logic. Excellent system. Department will not succeed. Right, my dear? Why? Because already completed. Sir, on what grounds it can be continued to be in warehousing, sir? My dear, we have already read in, import-export procedure. For the want of clearance of goods, not for the sake of payment of duty, for the want of clearance of goods, importer can request warehousing without warehousing. Section 49 we have read. Remember, my dear? In import-export procedure chapter relating to warehouse. wherein 30-day permission will be granted to you to warehouse the goods without warehousing. It will not be considered as warehouse. The 30-day period can be extended by the commissioner for the reason documented in writing. Are you mindful, my dear? Everybody, you're comfortable? So yes, here the department will not succeed. That is the answer. Department will not succeed, my dear. I guess that's the end of this beautiful discussion. Yes, the company will succeed. We have to read the question carefully. Yeah. Here the company will succeed. Now, they have given the case law. Again, I'm telling you, I have not read this particular lorry limited vis-a-vis Union of India case law. But look at this, we have understood the provisions very clearly. Because of our ability to interlink the provision, we are in a very good shape to answer. Because recollect, import export procedure while entry inward is granted, relating to entry inward, we have read section 49. After import export procedure, we learned the relevant rate of customs duty, relevant rate of exchange. Now for warehousing chapter, we are connecting all. Are you able to see the interlinking provisions, my dear? Are you comfortable? Everybody? Everyone? So, I took one step extra mile for this particular chapter as I did it for all other chapters. See, valuation, we worked out all the problems. Duty drawback, we worked out all the problems. Here, warehousing also, we are doing all the problems, right? So, we just want to ensure our application skill set is honed and it has been perfectly nailed and we are right on top of this.